I'm Riya, and today I'm joined by Ethan as our guest.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Fluent Vibe Podcast.
Today's question is simple, but dangerous.
Would you be happy without money?
Yeah, because the moment people hear that question, they react fast.
Some say, of course not. Others say, money doesn't buy happiness. And honestly, both answers feel incomplete.
Exactly.
Because money is emotional.
It's not just numbers.
It's safety,
Freedom,
choices,
comfort,
status,
stress.
sometimes even identity.
And that's why conversations about money get intense.
Because people aren't really talking about cash. They're talking about what cash represents.
That's deep.
Because when someone says, I need money to be happy, what they may really mean is, I need stability. I need relief. I need options. I need peace. And that makes sense.
Because if basic needs aren't met, happiness becomes harder.
Not impossible, but harder.
Yeah, it's difficult to enjoy life when you're constantly worried about rent, food, debt, or emergencies.
Stress consumes attention,
Fear consumes energy.
and survival mode changes everything.
So let's be honest.
Money can absolutely remove certain types of pain.
It can reduce pressure.
It can create breathing room,
It can give time back.
and time is powerful.
Because when you're not exhausted by survival, you can think,
Heal,
create,
connect.
live.
But here's where it gets interesting.
Removing pain is not the same as creating happiness.
Exactly.
Money can solve many problems.
But it can't automatically solve emptiness.
It can buy a better bed, not better sleep.
A bigger house, not a peaceful home.
Luxury dinners, not deep relationships.
Followers, not belonging.
Entertainment, not meaning.
That difference matters.
Because many people chase money expecting emotional fulfillment.
And when they finally earn more, they feel confused.
Like, I thought this would feel different. I thought I'd feel complete. Yeah, because goals can be powerful motivators.
But once reached, they often become normal.
Humans adapt quickly.
The salary that once felt huge becomes average.
The purchase that felt exciting becomes ordinary.
The milestone becomes baseline.
And then the mind says, what next?
More.
Always more.
That cycle is endless if you don't understand it.
Because if happiness depends only on the next number, you may never arrive.
So does money matter?
Absolutely.
Does money equal happiness?
Not exactly.
Maybe money is a tool.
And tools depend on how they're used.
I like that.
Because money in wise hands can create freedom.
Money with awareness can reduce stress.
Money with generosity can help others.
Money with balance can support a meaningful life.
But money without self-awareness?
It can amplify insecurity,
Amplify comparison.
amplify greed.
Amplify loneliness.
That's why some wealthy people still feel empty.
And some ordinary people still feel rich in spirit.
Yeah, because happiness is multidimensional.
It includes finances, but also relationships,
Health,
purpose,
self-respect,
peace of mind,
community,
growth.
gratitude.
And if one area is strong while others collapse, something still feels missing.
Let's talk about comparison.
Because money becomes dangerous when it stops being practical and becomes performative,
Trying to look successful,
trying to impress people,
trying to prove worth.
buying symbols instead of building substance.
That pressure is real.
Especially now,
Social media turns lifestyle into identity.
cars become personality,
Trips become status.
brands become self-esteem.
And suddenly people spend money to be seen, not to be served.
That creates financial stress and emotional emptiness together.
Worst combination.
Because now you're broke and pretending.
Exactly.
And pretending is expensive.
Emotionally too.
So maybe the better question is not, would you be happy without money?
Maybe it's, how much money do you need for stability? And what else do you need for happiness?
That changes everything.
Because then money has a role, but not the throne.
It becomes part of life, not the meaning of life.
Let's get practical.
If someone has zero money, no support, constant fear, telling them money doesn't matter is unrealistic.
Yes,
Context matters.
Privilege matters.
Basic security matters.
But if someone already has enough for needs and still feels empty, then the problem may not be income.
It may be direction,
Connection,
inner peace,
unresolved pain,
lack of meaning.
and more money alone may not fix that.
This is why two people with the same salary can feel very different.
One feels grateful and balanced.
The other feels trapped and inadequate.
Same money.
Different psychology.
Because happiness is filtered through the mind.
Your expectations.
Your habits.
Your values.
Your comparisons.
Your emotional health. And before we end today's conversation, there is one more truth that deserves to be said clearly, because many people spend years chasing money without ever pausing long enough to ask themselves what kind of life they are actually trying to build in the first place.
Sometimes we become so focused on earning more, saving more, upgrading more, and proving more, that we forget happiness is not supposed to be a reward that only arrives after exhaustion, sacrifice, and endless comparison finally come to an end.
Yes, money can create comfort, protection, opportunities, and relief from many real problems, but if the journey toward earning it destroys your peace, your health, your relationships, and your ability to enjoy ordinary moments, then the cost may be much higher than the reward.
There are people with small apartments, simple routines, and modest incomes who laugh deeply, sleep peacefully, and feel emotionally rich because they have love, gratitude, and enough freedom to enjoy the life they already have.
And there are also people surrounded by luxury, status, expensive things, and visible success who still feel anxious, lonely, restless, and strangely empty because no amount of external wealth can automatically heal an unsettled inner life.
That is why the smartest goal may not be to become rich at any cost, but to become stable enough financially that money supports your life instead of controlling it, while also becoming wise enough emotionally that your happiness does not disappear every time circumstances change.
Because real success is not only about what sits in your bank account, but also about whether you can wake up without dread, breathe without constant pressure, love without pretending, and rest without guilt.
If your ambition is costing you your joy, then it may be time to redefine ambition.
If your lifestyle is forcing you to stay trapped in stress, then it may be time to redefine success.
If your self-worth rises and falls with numbers, titles, or possessions, then it may be time to rebuild your identity on something stronger and more permanent.
Maybe happiness is not found in choosing between money and meaning, but in learning how to earn responsibly while still protecting the parts of life that make wealth worth having in the first place.
Maybe the goal is to make money without losing yourself.
Maybe the goal is to grow without becoming emotionally empty.
Maybe the goal is to achieve without forgetting how to appreciate.
And maybe the most powerful kind of wealth is the kind that allows you to live honestly, help others generously, rest peacefully, and look at your own life with gratitude instead of constant dissatisfaction.
So if you are struggling financially right now, do not lose hope, because seasons change, skills grow, opportunities appear, and difficult chapters do not define your entire future.
And if you are doing well financially but still feel incomplete, do not ignore that feeling, because it may be inviting you to build depth where you only built success.
At the end of everything, the question was never simply, would you be happy without money? The deeper question has always been, what kind of happiness are you trying to create, and what are you willing to trade for it? Because some people gain money and lose themselves.
Some people protect themselves and slowly build both peace and prosperity.
And the difference often comes down to awareness.
So take your ambition seriously, but do not worship it.
Respect money, but do not fear it.
Use success, but do not become owned by it.
Build wealth, but also build a life that still feels warm, human, meaningful, and truly yours when the noise becomes quiet.
Thank you for spending this time with us today, for thinking deeply with us, and for being willing to ask questions that many people avoid for years.
We will see you in the next episode.
Until then, earn wisely, live fully, protect your peace, and never forget that the richest life is not always the loudest one.